is happening, ladies and gentlemen? My name is Ty behind the camera, and sitting in front of us is the 2024 Kia Carnival, and this just so happens to be in the LX trim with the seating package. So kind of a more basic trim level to this car, but with some nice options added on to it. So we have this one finished in Aurora Black Metallic in a very nice gray and black synthetic leather interior. Throughout this video, we're going to take a look at the exterior first. We'll then pop the hood, see what powers this, and then we'll pop the trunk and see how much storage space there is in the back of the Carnival. And then we'll pop open the rear sliding doors, check out the second and third row seating, and finally we'll come up front to the front seats and check out all the features up front. But you're going to want to make sure to stay tuned to the end of the video, because I'm going to mount this GoPro to my head and we're going to take this Carnival for a test drive, so you'll see what it's like to drive. But getting straight into it, let's take a look up front where we have our LED headlights. That's right, so LED high and low beams for your headlights, and you also have LED daytime running lights, and a pretty neat design there. And that's all going around your turn signals too, so it looks very nice, all illuminated. We have a good amount of silver trim down on the bottom, and then also above your headlights and going down towards the bottom of your typical Kia Tiger Nose grille. But pretty nice styling up front with the new Kia emblem. We have a short but sloping hood up top, and leaning down we have the 17-inch silver painted wheels, and these are the standard wheels on the Carnival, so it looks pretty nice even for the most basic wheels that you can get. 235/65 is the tire measurements. Looking down the side, we have black trim that surrounds the windows, which blends in nice with this Aurora black paint color. We do have turn signal indicators on the mirrors, as well as blind spot warning. And we also have smart key entry even on the most basic model. So we have this button right here on all 4 door handles at that, to lock and unlock the vehicle. Walking back a little bit more, we have a window sticker which displays a as tested price of $37,155, which seems to be a very good value for the money. Taking a walk back too, we have this pretty cool trim that goes right in between the middle side window and the rear side window, kind of with this texturing on it too. Kind of breaks up all the black going on here, and a really nice trim piece there. They also have a fuel filler on the driver's side, and they do a nice integration for the tracks for the minivan door, and it kind of integrates into the body line, so pretty nicely done there. Taking a walk back here, we of course have our third wiper tucked up underneath the spoiler to give it a nice clean design back here, and you have the appearance of a nice big light bar. Up here we have our first segmentation of lighting, and those are kind of your tail lights and brake lights. Regular incandescent bulbs up there, but still looks pretty nice, all illuminated. And dropping down below the Carnival emblem, we have a couple of more lights. So we have reflectors down here, we have the turn signals and the reversing lights, which is pretty neat location for those. We also have parking sensors, more silver trim back here. You can pop the trunk lid right here, and you also have a reversing camera right below the Kia emblem. So I think this is a pretty stylish minivan. What do you guys think? Let me know in the comments. Popping the hood to the Kia Carnival reveals a pretty potent 3.5 liter V6. It's good for 290 horsepower and 262 pound-feet of torque. And all of that is mated up to an 8-speed automatic with front-wheel drive only. But taking a look under the hood, it's pretty tidy. You could see that the engine is kept very nice. You could even see the V of the engine too in there with both the valve covers. You can check your oil right there with the orange dipstick, and we have the engine mounts too right up front and center, and our battery is located under the hood right over there. So pretty tidy engine bay and very easy serviceability. Next, let's take a look at how much storage space we have back here. Now we could kind of pop the tailgate open, and just kind of lift up a little bit and the door will pop right open. So on the LX trim, it is not a powered lift gate, but it is very easy to open. Once it's open, you have a huge entryway into the cargo area. Now, as you can see, the third row seats can either be folded down like so, up in the position of a for people to sit there, or you can pull this lever here and these seats will go down into the floor and you'll have a nice flat loading space up against the second row seating. So that is a pretty nice feature. We do have some pretty big storage areas too here with a lip, so whatever you put in there won't fall out, kind of 2 tiers of that. And you can also pull this tether right here to either recline the third row seats or to fold them down flat like you saw in the first position. You even have grocery bag hangers on the back of the seats, so that's pretty neat. And a 12-volt power outlet back here. So lots and lots of room back here for storage and children or whoever you decide to put back here. And you can just kind of grab this handle right here. It is not heavy at all. And you can close the trunk right on down. All right, let's open up the rear by just tugging on the handle. And still one of the coolest parts about minivans is the power sliding rear doors, and this one of course has it. Now we're looking at the second row seats right now, but we're going to fold this handle like so and scoot the seat all the way forwards, and we're going to hop into the third row seating. Now it's worth pointing out that the third row of seats still has the same quality of synthetic leather that all the other rows of seating has. Now, this is something that some manufacturers don't follow suit with, so they usually have some more cheap leather back here in the third row. But this one has a pretty nice, the same grade as up front. Obviously lots of storage back here. You even have a USB charger. As you can see, if I scooted the seat all the way back like this one is, I still have a lot of leg room back here. So definitely very, very spacious. And as you can see, with the seat folded away, it doesn't even look like there was ever a seat there. So lots and lots of storage space too back here if you choose. You have air vents, of course, back here too, and some lighting for the cargo area. And it is pretty spacious back here, even for somebody of my size, which is 5'10". And when we're done, we could just kind of reach under the seat and scoot it back. We also have this other lever right here too to fold the seats down flat for kind of maximum cargo capacity. We also have a nice armrest too, and once we hop in, kind of close the door up by pressing this button. Lots and lots of space back here too, as you can see. Again, I'm 5'10". Lots of space. You can also close or open the door with using this handle here. A little bit of silver trim on the door with your window switch, and another cup holder on the door as well. On the back of the center console, we have another 12-volt power outlet and a pretty deep storage tray back here, and a fully flat floor back here. Some more USB chargers on the backs of the front seats, grocery bag hangers, and you also have mat pockets on the back of both seats. To the other side, you have a dedicated climate control for back here too. So we have a temperature, where the air comes out, and the fan speed, with some more air vents for the second row and some tap lighting, grab handles, and you can also fold down the center seat back here to get a kind of center console sort of thing here. So we have a tray with some phone holders and more cup holders as well. So this could be pretty comfortable back here with just 2 passengers. kind of lounge back, recline the seat a little bit, and have a nice armrest. Okay, so now we're at the main event, the driver's cockpit. Let's take a look at the driver's door first. We have nice soft touch up here, so if you like to rest your elbow up here, that's pretty nice. A nice amount of silver trim with a pretty cool door handle. We have all of our mirror adjustments over here with the lock unlock. Also lock out the rear windows for the kiddos. 6 speakers in the LX trim level for the Kia Carnival. And it just kind of goes up from there. You can have an 8-speaker audio system or a 12-speaker Bose system too in the upper end models. Lots of storage on the driver's door with another bottle holder. And a couple of buttons on the left of the dash. We have some more of that really cool trim that we saw on the outside of the vehicle. We have a gauge dimmer, your lane keeping assist, and your traction control, which you can turn on and off. You can also open the rear sliding doors with these 2 buttons here and kind of turn the power function off. And at this angle, you can see the lever to release for the telescoping steering wheel. We obviously have our pedals, nice large dead pedal too with your hood release right there. And very nice comfortable seats with the synthetic leather covering. Quite a bit of stitching too with the same color and perforations on the inside. And we have full power adjustments with the 2-way lumbar. Alright, so here's the key for the Carnival, very similar to the other key fobs that Kia has on other cars now. A couple other extra buttons though. We have the remote start and also the ability to open the side sliding doors for the minivan part. We have the Kia emblem over here and a little tiny button there to slide out a physical key in case you need it. We have the lock button that's kind of like an actuator, which is pretty cool. The unlock and a panic alarm, so pretty nice key for the Carnival. You of course have the push button start, which is nicely placed, like kind of like where you're sitting you could still see it, so you're not hunting around for the push button start like you are in most cars. But pretty attractive looking interior. Again, this is the basic model, but even so we have a very nice steering wheel, nice gauge setup, and a very nice touchscreen with some pretty nice materials here. So we have a nice leather wrapped steering wheel with all of your audio controls on this side. So we have the audio up down, different radio stations right here, mode, voice commands, Bluetooth telephone, and a kind of programmable button. On the other side we have all of these controls right here for either your cruise control or to configure the small center display up there, and we also have some driver's assistance controls there too. Behind the steering wheel we have a couple of stalks, this one for your headlights, your turn signals, and of course your high beams. We do have automatic high beams in this car, and that is how you activate it. And of course the other side we have the front and rear wipers. So pretty traditional gauge setup, but very attractive looking in the Carnival. So this is the LX gauge cluster here. So we have the large analog tachometer, and then there we have the coolant temperature, and over here the speedometer, and of course the fuel gauge. But we do have a nice digital portion to the display, which we can adjust using the page button and the up and down arrows. So right here is kind of your driver's assistance screen, where you can see the kind of the lane keeping aid, and also your lane keeping for the steering. We can also move down to see your attention level, so this will kind of remind you to pull off if you're on long trips and you're kind of tired driving. Just pull off and take a rest for a little bit. That's a pretty cool feature. If we move on over to the driver's information screen, we have the kind of trip A, trip B, and also your digital speedometer. You can also move over to see some more settings that you could go through, and then also your tire pressure display. Up the top of the screen you can see your fuel range, as well as your what gear you're in, the exterior temperature, and the little lane keeping assist display. So pretty nice little display in there. Again, you can get a fully digital gauge cluster too in the upper trims, which is nice. Upper dash is pretty nice and large, as every minivan is. And take a look down here at our touch screen. fairly basic unit, but it has all of the essentials. So we have kind of a home screen set up right here. We have some physical buttons to either side, the radio, media, and then kind of a favorites button, and then your seek track for the radio. We also have your volume knob and a tune knob over there too, which is pretty nice. Click into our radio screen. We have a nice setup with our presets on this side and kind of what's playing over here, and your sources up top. We also have our phone screen over here with Android Auto, Apple CarPlay, which of course this has. We have a quick access for the phone screen and media, as well as your setup, but we can also go into all menus. Phone projection has to do with the Apple CarPlay, Android Auto. You can leave yourself voice memos, have access to radio media screen, pull up the rear climate control and kind of adjust that, which is pretty neat. You can also go into your setup and get your user's manual within the screen. There's one thing I didn't mention is the quiet mode. Now this is pretty neat. It says when quiet mode is selected, radio and media is played only in the front seats, and all volume levels above 7 will be decreased to 7 automatically. So that is pretty cool. Kind of give the kids in the back a chance to sleep. Got some more of that pretty cool trim going across the passenger side. Front and center we have the hazards button, which is nice, so you never kind of go around fumbling to find it if you ever need to find it. Over here we have a very simple climate control. We have 3 simple knobs, one for temperature, one for fan speed, and one for where the air comes out. A couple of buttons in between them, kind of the recycling and outside air, and then your AC and rear defroster button. And this temperature knob right here has to do with the rear climate control, so you can turn the rear on and off. And then lock out the rear too if you have some pesky children, and also adjust the rear fan speed too, all from up here. We have a nice storage tray over here with some USB connections. This is our gear shifter for the 8-speed automatic. We of course have park up top and then reverse, which will bring up your reversing camera with the guidance lines and parking sensors. Go on into drive, and then if you need to, you can go over into manual mode. So if you have this car loaded up with kids and people and lots of cargo, you can go into manual mode, kind of get up all the hills you need to, have all the power you want, and kind of select your own gears. So that's pretty neat. Right below the shifter we have a drive mode button where we can choose between normal, eco, sport, and smart. Now smart will kind of predict the driving style and kind of a change accordingly. We have the electronic parking brake, which you press down to deactivate, pick up to activate. And we also have the auto hold function too, which is pretty nice. Small array of buttons too here with your front heated seats. We can turn our parking sensors off if you'd like. And we also can pull up the parking camera at any time. And of course our passenger heated seats. We have 2 cup holders up here in the center console and a place to put either your key or your phone. I found that's a pretty neat place to kind of put your key there. It fits perfectly in there. A nice lid for the center console with the smooth, almost feels like real leather, this synthetic leather. Well, you can lift that up and you have plenty of storage in there, and a kind of an external storage too. Now on the passenger side, you have some pretty nice stuff to look at here. So we have a nice soft to the touch dashboard with some more trim, and the glove box is pretty large, has all the owner's manuals and things like that in there. Taking a look up top, we have a full gray headliner to kind of match the gray accents inside this car. We have some illumination up here, and your passenger airbag off display. Pretty traditional rear view mirror. And one thing I can't forget to mention is our visors, which have a mirror, card holder, and light. But that pretty much does it for the Kia Carnival in the LX trim as far as the features go. Pretty feature friendly with this car, and it's only, again, let's keep in mind, it's only $37,000. This is a lot of car for that money. Let's get it out on the road and see how it drives. right, here we are setting off in the Kia Carnival. So, throughout our test drive, we're going to put this Carnival through its paces a little bit. We'll kind of get a bunch of tests in here, kind of just on this straight road here. We'll see what it sounds like up at the higher speeds. We'll then get an acceleration test, and for the majority of the video, we'll be on a nice back road, so we'll kind of get a feel for the suspension and how it handles, how it drives. So we'll really dive deep into this Kia Carnival in every aspect. But yeah, so far, I mean, we're up at 45 miles an hour, so the road noise is a little bit there, but that's really the only thing I hear. Don't hear too much wind noise, just the cars passing us. And it's a pretty comfortable car up at these speeds. We have a nice paved road, which on our test drive will take us through some pretty nasty bumps and everything, so we actually get to see how it drives. But yeah, not too bad in the road noise here. We're going to take a right onto this back road, and this is where we'll do our acceleration test. So what I like to do is we'll get the car up to 25 miles an hour, and we'll mash the throttle, see how fastly we can get up to speed here. So here's 25, and let's go. And that's 60. And the brakes feel pretty good too. So yeah, we do have a pretty nice amount of power in this Kia Carnival. We have about 290 horsepower, as I mentioned before, out of the 3.5 liter V6, and that scoots this along pretty nicely. So definitely plenty of power, just with one passenger in it. Of course, this is an 8-passenger vehicle, so with 8 people in it, maybe weighted down just a little bit, but with just one person in it, that's just fine with acceleration. We have a nice twisty back road here for us, which is nice for driving sports cars, but also nice for driving comfortable cars too, because this is a pretty rough road. Lots of imperfections. The road definitely needs to be paved. It even gets worse as the road goes on. So, this will be a true evaluation of the suspension. And so far, it's doing just fine. You know, as with a minivan should be, comfort is the key to the suspension, and this definitely is it with this one. As you can see, our lane keeping assist is doing a very nice job at keeping me in my lane too. And it's a pretty patchy lane too, so I'm kind of surprised that it's picking it up. But that is good. This V6 has plenty of power. Right here is where I'd usually say let's see how it handles, but since it's a minivan, I think we all know it's gonna have a little bit of body roll in the corners, but again, like I said earlier, the key focus of this is comfort, and it does that pretty well. Now right here is the nastiest part of the road. You'll see where it's all kind of patchwork and potholes and things like that. This will be kind of a true evaluation of the suspension here. Yeah, so just a little bit of road noise coming from the bumps and things like that, but overall, pretty darn comfortable ride. Now the seats also seem to be pretty comfortable too. We have the LX seating package in this car, so it's not totally a base car, but we have these nice kind of synthetic leather seats, and they're very soft, very comfortable, especially up here in the driver's seat. Pretty good range of adjustability too with the lumbar support, and overall it's a pretty comfortable seat. I can definitely see myself doing many miles behind the wheel of this car with no problem, no backaches or anything. And with normal acceleration, the engine stays nice and quiet too, which is definitely a plus. Although at wide open throttle, it is pretty loud. But to sum up the video, that's pretty much it for all of the features on the Kia Carnival and the test driving portion. This is a pretty nice option in the minivan segment. I have to say, even with this lower end model, you have lots and lots of features and a pretty good value for the money. If I were to sum it up, there is a little bit of road noise in the driving sector, but we have plenty of power and plenty of comfort, which is what this car is meant for. So I appreciate each and every one of you for watching this video, and I hope you stay with us here at Tide Drives for more videos just like this one.